Seja mais um inscrito no canal. E não esqueça de deixar o seu curte e like no vídeo. Obrigado.
This is Istanbul in modern Turkey. To the west lies Europe, to the east Asia, stretching all the way to India and China. I'm Matthew Settle. In 334 BC, Alexander, king of the tiny Greek kingdom of Macedon, crossed this neck of water and headed east into the mighty Persian Empire ruled by Darius III. Both Alexander and Darius had one ambition: to rule the known world. In the war that followed, the winner would take all. The decisive battle was fought 3 years later, on 1st October 331 BC, on the dusty plain of Gaugamela.
Hoje, com a tecnologia dos videogames, podemos visualizar como foi a batalha, o grande número de soldados, a formação das tropas em luta e como a batalha foi vencida.
Now, decisive battle.
Batalhas decisivas. A sequência de eventos que levou a essa grande batalha se iniciou longe da planície persa. Em 356 a.C., o rei Felipe da Macedônia e sua esposa Olímpias tiveram um filho que chamaram Alexandre. Felipe era o mais poderoso rei da Grécia, mas era difícil manter os estados gregos unidos. Ele pensou que uma guerra contra um velho inimigo, a Pérsia, seria uma forma de unir o país e de ele continuar poderoso.
But Philip had problems at home. He already had 6 wives, and in 337 BC, he married his 7th, a young teenager named Cleopatra. Olympias was furious. She feared her son Alexander might never become king. The following year, in 336 BC, Philip was assassinated. Everyone suspected that the murder was organized by Olympias, and as she'd hoped, her 20-year-old son Alexander inherited Philip's throne and his ambition to conquer Persia.
I think Persia was the dragon that he needed to slay. It was like sacking Troy times 100.
O Império Persa era vasto. Ia da Turquia de hoje e passava pelo Iraque, Irã e Afeganistão até o norte da Índia. Mas isso só encorajou Alexandre. Ele era muito curioso e queria ver as terras além da Pérsia e o oceano que se acreditava cercar a Europa e a Ásia nos confins da terra.
Alexander was a hunter and a conqueror, and he set himself no limits. His first task was to defeat the existing Persian Empire. Second task, to recover the old Persian Empire, which he would have known about, which extended over the Hindu Kush into what's now Pakistan. Third goal, well, the limit, which was, as the Greeks thought, the ocean. He just simply wanted to go on until he hit the Eastern Ocean.
He was competing with Achilles, with Heracles, and he wanted to leave a name that would live forever and ever.
In 334 BC, he arrived here in Turkey with an army of 40,000 men.
Embora macedônio na base, o exército tinha tropas de toda a Grécia e muitos mercenários. Seu coração era a cavalaria companheira, uma unidade de elite de cerca de 1.600 homens.
Alexander's particular contribution was that he led the companion cavalry, the crack cavalry force, in person, and he had done so from the age of 18, so the troops would know that their leader was not just there because he was the son of the previous king, but because he was one of the finest horsemen in the entire army.
Alexander's companion cavalry were probably the greatest cavalry ever in the history of the world. They were companions of the king. They were the elite of all Macedonia who could call Alexander Alexander and who were his friends, his mates.
Um exército persa foi enviado para deter esse jovem arrogante no Helesponto. Os dois lados se defrontaram no rio Granicus.
Alexander led the cavalry charge across the river. He rode straight for Mithridates, the son-in-law of Darius, and plunged his lance into his face, killing him outright. Then 2 Persian generals attacked Alexander. One dented his helmet with a sword swipe, but was killed by Alexander. The second general came at him with an axe, but as he raised it, his arm was cut off at the shoulder by one of Alexander's companions.
O restante da cavalaria macedônia passou o rio. E os persas bateram em retirada. Alexandre continuou para leste, para a Ásia Menor, sentindo-se destinado à grandeza. O rei Dario, em pessoa, decidiu cuidar do assunto. Ele levantou um novo exército e lutou de novo contra os macedônios em 333 a.C. em Issus. A superioridade numérica de Dario era esmagadora, mas o campo de batalha era estreito e ele não pôde se aproveitar disso. Novamente, a cavalaria de Alexandre esmagou as linhas persas. Dario fugiu tão depressa que deixou sua mãe, esposa e filhas para trás, cativas de Alexandre. Enquanto isso, milhares de soldados persas tiveram sua fuga interrompida. As vitórias fizeram de Alexandre o senhor das terras por onde passou. Suas terras incluíam agora o Egito, em mãos persas por 200 anos. Como seu novo faraó, ele fundou a cidade de Alexandria. Depois foi em peregrinação ao templo do deus Amon, no oásis de Siva, perto da fronteira da Líbia, percorrendo centenas de quilômetros de deserto.
Questions to Amon were answered through a priest. Alexander asked, "Will I rule the earth?" The answer seems to have been yes. But the priests went further. They greeted Alexander, calling him the Son of God. 2,000 years after his desert pilgrimage, Greek coins still depict Alexander as the ram-headed god Ammon.
Quem conhecia Alexandre disse que ele voltou mudado do Egito. Ele mesmo se achava um deus, invencível. Em julho de 331 a.C., o exército estava pronto para ir à Pérsia. 3 meses depois, ele cruzou os rios Tigre e Eufrates. Dario esperava por ele na planície de Galgamela, que significa a casa do camelo. O rei havia aprendido com a derrota de Issus e preferiu enfrentar Alexandre em Galgamela, um terreno totalmente plano, onde ele tiraria bom proveito de sua cavalaria e bigas com sabres. Ou ele deteria Alexandre de uma vez por todas, ou, se seu exército fosse derrotado, todo o Império Persa teria um novo líder, Alexandre o Grande. Em jogo, o controle da Ásia, do Mar Negro à fronteira da Índia. O exército de Dario era enorme, 250 mil homens, 5 vezes superior ao de Alexandre. Curtius Rufus, um historiador da época, descreveu como o exército persa andava pelo deserto.
First came the cavalry, drawn from all parts of the empire. Next in line were crack infantry troops, known as the Immortal, so called because their numbers were never allowed to drop below 10,000. 10,000 spearmen, then 30,000 foot soldiers, and 400 of his own royal horses. 600 mules and 300 camels carried the king's treasure, which in today's terms would be worth over $3 billion.
Em comparação, o exército de Alexandre era muito menor, 40 mil soldados da infantaria e 7 mil da cavalaria. Mas era um exército confiante, com o próprio Alexandre cavalgando à frente.
Macedonians really were a band of brothers. They really were companions. Every night they would eat together, dine together, drink together. They were, if you look down the rolls, there was brothers, cousins, uncles. Everybody was related to each other by marriage, by blood. And you know that Alexander just loved these guys and they loved him.
The flat plain at Galgamela was well suited for chariot warfare, but Darius went one further and had the ground leveled out to provide runways for his charioteers. This would be a huge set-piece battle, the kind the Persians had trained for. The vast battlefield would allow Darius to send all of his troops into action and use his 5-to-1 advantage to smash Alexander.
Um objetivo-chave era passar pela parede de lanceiros da falange. Isso era muito difícil, mas Dario tinha um recurso: as bigas com sabres. Eram bigas padrão, mas com longos sabres postos nos eixos das rodas, capazes de cortar as pernas de um cavalo ou de um homem. Elas eram conduzidas a toda velocidade contra a infantaria com o objetivo de quebrar a linha do inimigo e criar espaço para sua própria cavalaria e infantaria poderem entrar. Sabemos como Dario usou esse exército, porque suas instruções escritas foram apreendidas após a batalha. No flanco esquerdo ficavam as cavalarias bactriana e cítica das estepes da Ásia, cuja função era deter a cavalaria companheira.
Darius did set up Gaugamela to have a tremendous amount of heavy cavalry of his own fronting his left, so that Alexander would have to fight through rank after rank of really crack horsemen.
Os próprios persas ficavam no centro das forças, com o rei e seu séquito. À frente de Dario iam elefantes com bagagens e outras 50 bigas. O flanco direito era guardado por tropas sírias da Mesopotâmia e do Golfo Pérsico, e por outras 100 bigas com sabres. Como todo comandante grego até então, Alexandre organizou sua infantaria em falange. O bloco de soldados formava uma parede de lanças. As primeiras 5 filas apontavam suas lanças para frente, enquanto as restantes as mantinham a 75 graus para repelir dardos inimigos. Mas, diferente dos outros comandantes, ele combinou a falange com a flexibilidade da rápida cavalaria de ataque.
The Macedonian army, as developed by Philip first and perfected by Alexander, was really like the smart bomb of the ancient world. It was light years beyond the Greek phalanx, which was essentially just heavy infantry advancing in a solid front and beating each other's brains out.
It was a style of battle that's sometimes called sword and shield battle. The Macedonian phalanx functioned as a shield, and the companion cavalry acted as the offensive sword.
Em Gaugamela, Alexandre pôs uma cavalaria de cada lado da falange, mas colocou outra falange atrás de cada cavalaria, composta de mercenários e aliados. Ele sabia que sua cavalaria audaz podia deixar a infantaria vulnerável a ataques pelos flancos e pela retaguarda. A segunda falange cuidaria disso.
Alexander didn't seem to suffer from pre-battle nerves. In fact, he overslept. It was high noon by the time he joined his troops.
Os dois exércitos avançaram. Dario era favorecido pela vasta planície, ideal para ele usar seu numeroso exército e sua cavalaria. A proporção era de 5 persas por grego. Para evitar ser atacado pelos flancos, Alexandre levou sua cavalaria para a direita, para perto das linhas persas. Dario fez o mesmo movimento para neutralizar Alexandre. Essas manobras pelos flancos favoreceram Alexandre, pois desviaram as forças do ataque previsto por Dario para suas bigas. Dario viu isso e ordenou que o flanco esquerdo avançasse. Para não ser cercado, Alexandre atacou as tropas persas de frente.
What Alexander looked for in his battles was an opening in the enemy formation. As soon as he saw that, Alexander would lead a charge of his companion cavalry straight at that gap.
A batalha de Gaugamela foi grande em todos os sentidos. 300 mil homens lutando em quilômetros de deserto, com o Império Persa em jogo. O ataque de Alexandre pareceu suicida. Foi uma luta terrível, com os macedônios em número muito menor.
Alexander's charge seemed suicidal. It was a terrible struggle, with the Macedonians heavily outnumbered.
Well, they always say that when you're fighting against superior odds, it's like wrestling a bear. You got to get your blade into his heart before his paws wrap around you and crush you to death.
A batalha da cavalaria deixou a falange macedônia sem proteção. Dario decidiu que era hora de mandar suas bigas com sabres. 100 delas se prepararam para avançar contra os macedônios. Uma vez rompida a falange, Dario poderia cercar Alexandre e sua cavalaria e levaria a aventura do jovem rei a um final sangrento. Dario decidiu usar suas bigas equipadas de sabres nas rodas. As bigas se precipitam sobre a falange grega, tendo à frente uma parede de lanças afiadas como navalhas. Os homens da falange viam aproximando-se 100 bigas, cada uma com lâminas de 1 metro, zunindo no eixo de cada roda. Mas isso só aumentou a coragem da tropa. No último momento, quando as bigas estavam quase chegando, as fileiras se abriram e as bigas passaram direto. Para os condutores das bigas, foi o fim. Assim que passaram pelas fileiras abertas, centenas de lanças e de flechas acabaram com eles.
He had really crack javelineers and archers out front, and he was able to fire at the horses. If you just would nail one horse in a 4-horse team, that would completely, the whole team would go.
Enquanto isso, Alexandre ganhara o flanco direito. Dario moveu sua cavalaria do centro para reforçar o flanco e criou uma abertura imediatamente vista por Alexandre. Então ele atacou diretamente a abertura e, portanto, foi direto sobre o rei da Pérsia.
At only one point on the field did Alexander achieve numerical superiority, but that was at the crucial point when he was charging at Darius.
A falange macedônia seguiu Alexandre. A linha de batalha persa estava quebrada e de novo Dario teve de fugir.
When the rest of his army saw their king and his entourage fleeing, they naturally figured, well, if he's fleeing, why are we still standing here, risking our lives?
A batalha estava longe de acabar. Parte da cavalaria persa atacou o flanco esquerdo da cavalaria de Alexandre.
And if that wing of Alexander's army were to have given way, particularly given way soon, that would have unhinged Alexander's whole battle plan and probably prevented him from winning a victory, if not led to outright defeat.
O brilhantismo tático de Alexandre foi novamente decisivo. Ele criou a falange da retaguarda para essas emergências. A falange entrou em ação e obrigou a cavalaria persa a recuar. Quando soube que Dario e seu séquito haviam fugido, o exército persa começou a bater em retirada. Agora, todo o exército macedônio se pôs a perseguir os derrotados de perto.
Darius abandoned everything as he fled for his life. At Issus, he had left his wife and his daughters. This time at Gaugamela, vast amounts of treasure, weapons, and even the royal chariot were left behind. But Darius had gotten away again.
Antigamente, os dados de baixas serviam mais à propaganda do que à verdade. O historiador grego Arrian diz que Alexandre perdeu 100 homens e que Dario perdeu 300 mil. Descontados os exageros, os persas sofreram pesadas baixas, a maioria durante a retirada maciça.
Alexander pursued Darius for 9 months, but the two would never meet again. Darius was stabbed by one of his own generals and left by the roadside to die. Alexander wrapped his own cloak around the dead king. He had Darius' murderers executed and gave him a royal funeral.
Gaugamela was the most important victory that Alexander won, in that it broke the organized resistance of the Persian Empire.
Depois de Gaugamela, nada mais deteve Alexandre. Ele e seus companheiros macedônios dominaram todo o Império Persa. 1 ano depois da batalha, eles estavam no Afeganistão. 4 anos depois, cruzaram a cadeia de montanhas Kush e invadiram o norte da Índia. Alexandre cumpriria a profecia dos sacerdotes de Amon. ele estava para se tornar o senhor de todo o mundo conhecido.
In 323, Alexander returned to Persia. One night, he attended a drinking party. He suddenly yelled and complained of a pain that felt like a spear in his chest. He lapsed into fever. Barely conscious, he was asked to whom he would leave his kingdom. He replied, to the strongest.
If anyone deserves the right to be judged by the standards of his own time and not by our standards, it's Alexander. He fought as a hero. He was not a cold-blooded, calculating general like, say, Caesar or even Napoleon to some extent. He was there in the forefront on his horse, Bucephalus, charging right in there, and he believed that that was what it was all about.
On June 11th, he died at the age of 32. He wasn't a god after all. His body was covered in the scars of battle. He had been seriously injured 8 times and wounded by every form of weapon: sword, spear, arrow, and javelin. His body was embalmed by Egyptians and taken not to his homeland of Macedonia, but to Alexandria, named after the greatest commander the world had ever seen. His empire did not survive him. No one man was strong enough to inherit his mighty legacy. Instead, it was divided among his generals. Never again would one man conquer so much.
Muito obrigado pela sua inscrição no canal e pelo seu curte e like no vídeo.